Welcome to Roundup Reddit. Today we've got a series of would I be the asshole dilemmas that will leave you questioning the boundaries of family and friendship. Let's dive right in. Story 1. Would I be the asshole if I don't go to my sister's wedding? My sister is 6 years younger than me. We're both in our 30s. We weren't very close growing up. She has always been very condescending and acted like she's better than everyone else. We live about 3 minutes apart and we don't talk. We usually only see each other on major holidays with family, and we barely talk then. She has always been very mean to me, but when I grew up and moved out, it got worse. She would tell everyone that she was an only child, and people were shocked when they found out it was a lie. I ignored it because she was a teenager. After our parents split, I couldn't afford to live on my own, and she was in college, so we stayed with our mom. She was always trying to pick arguments and bully me into whatever she wanted. I tried to ignore it again, but I never understood why she was so mean to me. I haven't done anything to her. For almost 20 years now, I have always given her a Christmas present, but she's never even given me a card. I still continue to be the bigger person and give her one anyway, even when I'm broke, in hopes she'll grow up a little or at least be nice, but she hasn't. I'm not necessarily expecting a present, but at least a card. During my wedding, my daughter was my flower girl, and I gave her specific instructions on what to do. It was a long way to the aisle from the entrance, so I told her specifically to wait until she got to the seats before dropping flowers petals. During the ceremony, I came outside to my sister telling my daughter to go ahead and start dropping flower petals before she was even near the aisle. Those baskets don't hold a lot, so my daughter was out of flower petals before she even reached the seats. I was not happy and definitely annoyed. The look of embarrassment on her face when my daughter ran out was priceless, though. I don't understand why she felt she should control any aspect of my wedding. I let her know afterwards that my daughter knew what she was supposed to do. She said she didn't realize. No sorry or anything. I think it was the next year, or maybe the one after that, we were having Easter at my mom and stepdad's house. They made breakfast for us, and then we would play games with my daughter. She's the only child in my immediate family. We're at the table waiting for food. My daughter's 7 or 8, and she's excited as all kids should be. There's candy, toys, and games to play. So she's wiggling in her seat with excitement over what's coming later. My sister looks at her and says, "You need to sit down and be quiet." I said, "Excuse me. She is a child, and it's Easter. It's fun and exciting for her. Leave her alone." My stepdad said my sister's name and gave her an angry look. Everyone else just had this look of WTF. Mind you, she doesn't have any kids and has never cared for any. A few minutes later, my mom and stepdad served us breakfast. We're all eating and chatting away when my sister says, "My name. Why didn't you cut up her food?" I looked, and she had a massive omelet on her plate. I said, "I haven't looked at her plate since we aren't in a restaurant, and I thought mom or stepdad would have already cut it up." "Well, you should have paid attention." My stepdad was like, "Sister's name? I forgot. Calm down. She really knows how to suck the fun out of Easter." Thankfully, she left afterwards so we could have a nice day. A couple of years after that, she was getting married. I decided to go just to keep the peace. We go to the reception, and there's no designated place for my now ex-husband, daughter, and I to sit with my family. We had to go upstairs to the extra seating and sit by ourselves. It was clear that we weren't wanted there, so we just left afterwards. I wish we had never gone. Summer of 2021. I spent 9 days in the hospital and had 2 surgeries. I died for a moment in the first surgery, and then 3-4 months recovering. My parents came to visit, and I had phone calls and text messages from everyone else except my sister. Fast forward to March 31st of this year, Easter. We went to lunch with my mom, her boyfriend, stepdad has passed away, my daughter, my sister, and her fiance. I didn't even know they were engaged. For whatever reason, she sat beside me. At this point, I'd rather sit beside a cactus than deal with her. We order and the server brings our drinks. I had ordered a sweet tea and it tasted like diabetes. When the server came back, I asked for a half-sweet, half-unsweet tea instead. As soon as he walked away, it's, "All you had to do was order half a glass of unsweet tea and pour the sweet in." I said, "It's a glass of tea. I don't understand the big deal." My mom saw what was going on and distracted my sister. Her fiance looked so embarrassed. And the thing is, if I had ordered half a glass and I spilled some while trying to pour it, she would have a fit then too. They start talking about wedding plans, and I think to myself, how much I don't want to go. I don't understand why she feels the need to be this way. My dad always asks why she and I don't talk, and I have to tell him she's mean, rude, and condescending towards me. Mom says she wants us all to have a close relationship. I've talked to some friends, and some of them say that I need to go because she's my sister. I feel conflicted and I feel that I deserve to be treated with respect. Why would I go to this one if I wasn't wanted at the first one? I would love to have a nice, happy, healthy relationship with my sister. But honestly, if a friend treated me this way, I wouldn't be their friend. I know that my family will call me an AH if I don't go. Story 2. Would I be the asshole if I told my best friend why I did not want to invite his girlfriend as a +1 to my wedding? I've been best friends with B for a little over 2 years now. Him and his girlfriend H have been dating for more than 3, maybe closer to 4. I recently got engaged to my girlfriend, and we've been planning things out, but I'm on the older traditional side of things, and I knew she was the one for me. Her and I have been dating for 7 months. When H and I first met, it was a little rocky on my side, due asking her non-stop questions, from what everyone told me, about her job and why she actually wanted to be what she is in the military. I ended up saying that I didn't realize women could be Marines, and she just laughed while saying that she's glad she could clear it up for me. H doesn't go to B's outings with his friends, and the reason is we play a lot of cards, D&D, while H likes being introverted, plays video games, goes to the gym, and goes out with her own friends. She's polite to us all, and nobody has a problem with her, except my girlfriend, and I'm unsure why. When they first met, my girlfriend started focusing on H's tattoos, mentioning her style and physique. B and I were discussing our own things with everyone else, but I didn't get the side of H's story. My girl stated that she doesn't want to invite H to our wedding because she wasn't sure if H could dress the part. I mentioned that I'm sure he would cover her tattoos up, but I did agree. Out of B and H has seemingly been the more masculine and independent one. She also said that H observes and feels that H would be socially awkward towards everyone, and she doesn't want her family to be uncomfortable. I ended up inviting B, asking him to be our best man. He accepted and said how excited he was for both of us. I told him flat out that we did not want H to be invited, and he got upset, saying he wanted to know the reasons why. I just made up an excuse to only allow close friends and family, which wasn't really an excuse, it'll be small. I asked my other friends for advice, and they all told me that I was a dick and was going to ruin my friendship with B because H takes priority in his life. I then said that she wasn't a big priority if they're not married yet. I didn't grow up in America and don't really understand long relationships without loving marriages. Story 3. Would I be the asshole if I invited my sister's family except her husband? I, 25, female, am getting married to my partner, A, 27, male, during summer 2023. We live in Europe and are having a destination wedding at a beach. The majority of my family lives in North America, including my 2 sisters, B, 52, female, and P, 54, female. The venue we've chosen only allows for 25 guests, and we each get to invite 12 people. The 25th spot is for our dog, who the venue counts as a person. Growing up, I've always had issues with B's husband. I may not have been the easiest kid, but I have many memories of him making me cry during my childhood. Things got worse as a teenager before finally calming down as an adult. I've learned to ignore him to avoid issues, but I still find him difficult to be around. My partner also struggles as he constantly gets called my ex's name despite us breaking up 4 years ago. I will be inviting my other sister P's husband and kid. In all honesty, I'd love to only invite my sister B and her 2 kids without her husband, especially since if he comes, I'd have to choose to invite one of my close childhood friends. Would I be the asshole if I did this? Update. I've scheduled a call with my sister B for later this week. My other sister P accidentally blurted my feelings out to B. It unfortunately caused a fight. This isn't the way I'd have liked for her to find out, but I'm hoping to find a way to make the situation better as best I can. My sister B means a lot to me, and I love her to absolute bits, which is why I'd like to find a way to make it better. That being said, I've come to the decision that her husband has no place at my wedding as I haven't taken the last hour to weigh the pros and cons. This is someone who I remember distinctly telling me to stop crying like a baby at my father's funeral. The fact that he has become increasingly mean to my partner feels like a line that cannot be crossed. My significant other deserves to be comfortable at our wedding. If that makes me an AH, then fine. I'll take the consequences that come along with it. I'll let B know as respectfully as I can. I've made my decision, and I will respect whatever choices my sister decides on as a result. Story 4. Would I be the asshole if I had my wedding in my sister's dream wedding location? I've written this out a bunch of times, but always ramble for too long, so I'm going to attempt to tell this super briefly. We'll answer questions if needed. I, 24, female, am from the US, but went to university in the UK and have been in England since. My fiancé, Nick, 25, male, is from Italy, but similarly came to the UK for university. My sister Sarah, 27, Pinterest stuff, hundreds of pics in her camera roll, following a bunch of wedding bakery Instagram pages, etc. Is someone who has always fantasized about her wedding. Pinterest stuff, hundreds of pics in her camera roll, following a bunch of wedding bakery Instagram pages, etc. Her dream wedding location has always been an Italian vineyard. When deciding our wedding location, Nick and I were going between NY, London, and Tuscany, where his family's from. We chose Tuscany because 1. We find it the most beautiful. 2. His family has a huge vineyard where they're happy to host everyone. And 3. With the money we'd save for venue and accommodations, we could pay for the airfare of all our guests coming from the US. It'll be a small wedding, max 50 people, 15 from the US, 10 from the UK, so it's doable. Anyway, we go about it. It'll be a destination wedding for some people. So Tuscany is thus the best financially speaking. My sister, however, is furious. She called me selfish for doing this to her, since I've never cared nearly as much about weddings, but now I'm stealing her dream location. My parents were on her side till I told them Nick and I would be covering all our family's airfare and accommodations, and then they were placated. They worried family members wouldn't want to go to 2 destination weddings in Italy. Sarah, however, has not come around, even when I've tried to explain the reasoning behind all. After talking with my mom today, she suggested that we just have it in England to keep the peace, since this means so much to my sister while I've never cared much for weddings. She said she and my dad discussed and think they're able to cover the cost of all the airfare for people flying from the US, which might be financially doable for them, but really not ideal as they're both retired. I'm not sure what to do now. Nick strongly prefers Italy, but he isn't adamantly against London. His parents very much want to host the wedding. I don't think I'm the AH, since this is literally where Nick's family lives, but I'm willing to admit I'm wrong, so would I be the asshole if I don't give in? And that's a wrap for today's episode of Roundup Reddit. What do you think about these dilemmas? Who's the asshole in these situations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and stay kind.